Welcome back, everybody. Let's take a break for Stephen Shamus.
So what's in your background, by the way? What's the Army Navy? Are you in a comic shop?
I am in my comic shop. If you could see, there's the Doom Patrol in the background. I am at Everyone Comics and Books in Long Island City, Queens. And yeah, hanging out today. So if you're in town 2 weeks ago, I'm here.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. It's in Queens. You know what? Send me the address. Maybe I'll pop in there.
Long Island City, it's very quick.
All right.
Very easy.
So what do we got? What do we got today, Alex?
Yep, jumping back onto some of the She-Hulk bandwagon and then some interesting oddball stuff. We're going to talk a little Leapfrog.
Funny enough, I actually read the op.
The store might be closed, but you forgot about the guard frog.
The hell is a guard frog? I think it's his name.
My name is Leapfrog. I'm just acting like I'm the guard frog in this particular instance.
We're going to talk Mrs. Meow. We're going to talk Bettie Page Comics, Queen of the Nile. Indiana Jones. And Planet Comics.
Yeah, just an eclectic mix today. I have to get past Leapfrog.
Yeah.
And Miss Meow, we're not going to be able to discuss all the variants because some of the stuff were pledges and they're just not really for sale. So we're going to pick out a couple of the bigger issues, but it's an interesting Kickstarter campaign that the books are really selling for a lot of money right now.
Yeah.
All right, Alex. So what are we starting with?
Let's talk a little Leapfrog.
Yeah. So obviously on the She-Hulk. Again, Brandon Staley. Eugene is the Leapfrog from the TV show. So there's a 1967 version, there's a 1980 version. The 1980 version is the one that's on the show, but sometimes people don't differentiate. So the 67 one is still bumping up a little bit. But talk a little bit about the Leapfrog. It was kind of like a funny storyline with Daredevil.
Yeah, so Leapfrog is essentially a guy who found a suit and essentially just became a villain. The original one was actually was harder to catch in the beginning, but now he's just essentially a joke. And he does become a hero in the Marvel universe. Kind of sideways hero, like he's a bad guy, he's a thief, and then he starts helping people out. But he's just a comedic character all the way around.
Got it. Okay, so Daredevil number 25, which is the Vincent Petilio Leapfrog, is from February of 1967. Daredevil 25, there's only 2 9.8s, 22 9.6s, 43 9.4s, and then it goes down from there. And a 9.0 recently sold for $330. I would not look at this one, even though that one's increasing. That's not the Leapfrog that's on the TV show. The one that's on the TV show is Eugene. Right. That's Marvel Team Up number 121 from September of 82. That was a popular title back in the 80s. Yeah. There are 40 9.8s, there are 16 9.6s, and there are 5 9.4s. Those books have doubled since the show aired. 9.8s are about $550, 9.6s are about $200. Human Torch, Speed Demon appearance are in the book. First appearance of the Frogman, which is same thing as Leapfrog.
Right.
Barry Allen and Iris West cover. J.M. DeMatteis story with a Mike Esposito art with an Ed Hannigan cover. So the book to buy is the Marvel Team Up 121. You could probably find these in VF plus conditions if you go into back issue boxes at the shows, I think.
Yep.
If they haven't been picked already. Yeah. Okay, what do we got next, Alex?
We are going to talk about something a little weird. Miss Meow.
Yeah.
Mrs. Meow.
Yeah, it was a Kickstarter campaign. Talk about this Kickstarter campaign. They got some really good artists to do these covers.
Yeah, they got, Jamie Tyndall. There's a bunch of people doing these covers, a bunch of people, Ali Garza, Ryan Kincaid, people that if you go to a lot of cons, they're at a lot of cons and they're very popular and they do a lot of work. Kickstarter with these books nowadays are getting, Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Connor with their pop one is garnering, and a lot of Matt Kent books are now Kickstarter. So these things are not going away, and especially if they're Kickstarter exclusives, if you don't get in on it, it's all secondary market. There is no leftovers at a shop. There's no the people, the company's going to have them at a convention. They're printed specifically for the Kickstarter. And this is like,
Yes.
and this is a funny book because it's like mercenaries and thievery. So it's an interesting storyline, but I think what you're seeing here is all the artists and the fans of those artists are flocking to these books.
Got it. Got it. So we're not going to go through all the versions because there's so many different versions at the pledge levels. The ones that we're really going to talk about are the more expensive books right now that I wanted to talk about in particular are the Carla Cone books. Carla Cone is an incredible lifelike artist. When she paints, there's a realism to her characters, and her fan base is very, very rabid.
Yes.
So the two in particular that are selling for crazy money is there's a Carla Cone 1 in 50 variant cover D. There's only 3 9.8s, but those are about $50 raw now. And then there's the Carla Cone 1 in 100 virgin variant foil cover E. There's only 6 9.8s. One just sold for $550, and those are about $100 raw. But this title, I agree with you, seems to be taking off. But yes, it might be artist specific into, hey, I like Ale Garza, or I like Dawn McTeague,
Right.
or I like Ryan Kincaid or Jimmy Tyndall, right? Like they got some really, really good artists to do some of the work on this book. So again, on the Miss Meow books, I'd look for the Carla Cone books, but certainly some of the other higher pledge books that you had to spend $100+ on. I mean, if you could find those books, I would pick them up.
Yeah, definitely. Okay,
cool.
than later. Sooner than later.
Yeah. All right, cool. Alex's pick of the week. What do you got for us today, Alex?
I'm going to skip New York Comic Con stuff today to talk about VHSs.
They're starting to grade them now.
They're starting to grade them. And this is a promo VHS that was for the Aladdin video game. So
Where'd you get that?
I got it at a yard sale for not a lot of money. It's worth about $30. I paid
That's it?
A quarter of it. I think it's only
because
people don't know that they exist. So if you're a VHS grader and collector, these things were only sent out to a certain amount of like super fans for Capcom, and it was gameplay. It was someone talking about it. You know, it's a promo VHS. So mostly, I would assume people didn't keep these; they just chucked them in the trash or got rid of them, or threw them with the rest of it, because it's a 15-minute VHS. Like that's a lot. That's a lot of space for something small. I just think they're very cool. I think they're very rare, and I don't think the gaming industry knows too much about them yet. And I don't think the VHS collectors definitely don't know anything about them. So very interesting. This one's
that is
Disney,
cool.
Disney, Capcom, Super Nintendo. You're hitting all cylinders here.
Got it. All right, cool. What do we got next, Alex?
Jumping into Bettie Page comics.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about Olivia last week, and her stuff is moving.
Yes, very big.
We talked about her a couple of weeks ago. So talk a little bit. Is it just Olivia? Or what's going on here?
Well, you're getting, especially these Queens of the Niles. I mean, there's Bettie Page fans. There's people that buy Bettie Page stuff, and those people will pretty much. There's not a lot of it, so it's easy to complete your collection. And these are Dave Stevens covers. Dave Stevens is a huge influence. You talk to any comic artists these days, and they'll say, "Oh, I love Dave Stevens, a Rocketeer, big." Dave Stevens didn't put out a lot of stuff. He's not like a Jack Kirby or even people from that era. Like he didn't do that much stuff, and then all of a sudden he passed away very young. So you don't have a big breadth of work for Dave Stevens as you would for anybody else of that time. Bob Layton. I mean, Bob Layton, it has so much stuff comparatively, and Rocketeer became a movie. Disney bought the rights, did a Rocketeer movie, huge. The main female character is based off Bettie Page, and this is him drawing Bettie Page comics. I mean, you can't get any better than this.
Right. Yeah. These books are flying, Alex.
Yeah.
So Bettie Page, I was shocked. Bettie Page, Queen of the Nile, #1, Dark Horse Comics, December of 1999. 28 9.8. It's about a $425 book now. Issue #2 came out in February of 2000. There's 28 9.8s of that one too. That one's a $200 book now. #3 came out in April of 2000. There's only 19 9.8s, and that's almost $500 now.
Oh, geez.
So I think you could find these books at shows. Like I don't know that people have caught on yet to these books. So this is definitely a bargain there. All right, what do we got next, Alex?
Indiana Jones. You can't beat Indiana Jones. Yep.
Right. There's not much that we need to say on Indiana Jones.
Yes.
There's a new film coming out, obviously. We've talked about all the nostalgia plays from the 1980s. I think just this fits right into that. You're going to see Harrison Ford one last time, right? So I think this just fits into the nostalgia play. They did print a lot of copies of this book, though.
They did print a lot of copies, but I think the price is very cheap for what you're
very cheap.
Yeah.
Right. Knowing that there's another movie coming out, there's going to be renewed interest, all the nostalgia 80s stuff. We've seen it on all the other books that we talk about all the time. Yeah. The Further Adventures of Indiana Jones, #1, January of 1983. John Byrne's story, Terry Austin cover, 262 9.8s. It's only $150 book, Alex. It's not expensive.
It's not expensive. I think that's an easy pickup and hold, because 262 9.8s for a 40-year-old comic it's not that much.
No.
The printing
by
was
the way,
at least 100,000 copies, I think.
Oh yeah, that was a big book. Yeah. All right, now we're closing with Dave Stevens again. So maybe there is a pattern here, Alex.
I think so.
All right, what and Bruce Jones, by the way. So okay, so talk about go ahead, talk about the next book.
Planet Comics. Yeah, we're gonna, another thing that this was a continuation from the Golden Age Planet Comics. Dark Horse got the rights, or Blackthorn got the rights to start new stories. Planet Comics was like a space age comic book, pulpy book. And again, this is like Dave Stevens. Again, the amount of covers he did in interiors is not much. And we could talk about like the Johnny Quest comics, which aren't really worth anything except for the 2 Dave Stevens covers. And this is just another one, and early Bruce Jones as well.
Yeah, Bruce Jones, right? I was shocked when I saw that.
Yeah.
So, Alex, you're gonna be shocked by this. Planet Comics #1, April of 1988 from Blackthorn. There are 55 9.8s. The last one sold for $750.
Jeez, that's crazy. These are low print runs.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if you could find these books. These books, again, Indiana Jones, like mentally it rings a bell. With the cover, you see the cover, like, I've seen that. I don't mentally remember Planet Comics from 1988. Like, I don't remember seeing them. I don't remember stocking them on the shelves. I don't remember buying them in the stores or them. And maybe that's part of the charm of it. But you can't find the book, Alex.
That publisher is known for the 3D comics, not for the Planet Comics and stuff. And again, early Dave Stevens, Rocketeer wasn't huge at that time, and it wasn't been bought by Disney and so forth and so on. So yeah, very hard to find stuff.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. Well, thank you again for joining us on another episode. We loved having you. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the field below. And we will see everybody next week. Same bad time.
Same bad channel. Thanks, guys.